podcasts from swug.org. Your information technology answers are here.
Hi everyone, I'm Steve Wynkoop and welcome to another edition of Swug TV. Today we have Laura Rose back in the program and we're talking about more management type things and hiring type things. Welcome back to the show, Laura.
Thanks, Steve.
We talked last time about when is it time to hire, and this time I wanted to kind of talk about do you hire underqualified people with the intention of training them? Because sometimes, of course, you can the wages can be a little bit lower, so you can hire a little more aggressively that way. What do you recommend? Is that a good idea, or what are your recommendations there?
Well, it's really risky either way you do it, because you can end up hiring a really qualified person and they don't work out. So I always recommend using your gut feel. But one idea when you're doing interviewing somebody that's not qualified, I always want to make sure they can do something for the company. Maybe their secondary task is X, Y, and Z that they are fully qualified for. That's
interesting, yeah. So you make sure that they'll be able to contribute there immediately and then use that as kind of the ramp.
Yes. The other thing I would suggest is if you don't have a really good feel yet, put them on a 3-month probation period.
Right. That's a good idea. If you had an overqualified and an underqualified person, and maybe there was a 30% difference in the pay request, how would you go through that process of making that decision?
Well, as you know, there are a lot of things to consider when you hire somebody. I would try to get a heads up on the interview process and try to think about how they strategize, how they do problem solving. I actually ask a lot of questions, scenario-based questions, saying, okay, you have a problem that you don't have any experience in, how would you go about solving it? And just figure out how they think.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. If you could apply that, sometimes if you can apply that looking backwards and some of the things they've done in the past too, when was the situation that you were sort of dropped into something, and how did you deal with that?
Yeah. Exactly. So have more open-ended questions that gives you more insight into their problem solving and their personality as well.
Right. There are a lot of underqualified people that just haven't been given the opportunity yet. So if you find the right personality mix and the right person that's really interested in kind of moving forward and doing some new stuff, I think you can do some very cool things.
And you are comfortable in that learning curve period.
True. And I know we mentioned last time too, don't hire for spikes. Certainly don't be looking to hire an underqualified person if you really need help right this minute.
Right. You hire them when you're in a slow period, so that by the time you're in the upswing, you've got them trained and ready to go.
Very true. Well, great advice. Very good. Next time we'll talk about overqualified people and some ideas there. So thank you very much for your advice and your suggestions. I really appreciate it, Laura.
Thanks, Steve.